Has Belfast, Northern Ireland become one of the most expensive places to stay for the night in a hotel anywhere in not just the UK and Ireland, but the planet? That's what I'm going to investigate on this video. But I know what you're thinking, Stuart. Don't be silly. Of course, little old Belfast can't be the most expensive place in the world. Yeah, sure, maybe we pay a little bit more for this and that than we would like to, but surely it isn't a world leader when it comes to hotel rooms. So we're not going to look at hospitality in the whole. Bar owners in Belfast can breathe a huge sigh of relief, but we do know how much drink costs if you're out and about for a night in Belfast, and I think it's up there with some places around the world, if I'm totally honest. But for the purposes of this video, we're looking specifically at hotel stays. Now, I was looking at a hotel stay next Saturday night in Belfast, and I stumbled across quite a few hotels. In fact, I'm going to look at them now, and I'll give you the cost for next Saturday night. For the purposes of this, I'm just putting in one person Saturday night, and I'm going to use for all the comparisons hotels.com just to keep things fair. But I know there's other hotel sites you can book direct, there's comparison sites, and you'll get different rates. But just for the purposes of this video, let's just go with hotels.com. 10 Square, £306. Crown Plaza, £213. The Stormont Hotel, 180 quid. The Grand Central will skin you £295 for the night. Titanic Hotel Belfast, £389 for a Saturday night. The Holiday Inn, 204 quid. The Fitzwilliam Hotel Belfast, 329. Malmaison, 257. Like, all these hotels are more than 200 quid. The Ibis, 139 quid with a 7.8 rating. 139 quid to stay in an Ibis. £209 to stay in Belfast Travel Lodge for one night. Okay, and that brings me on to the next one, and the one we're going to use for the comparison in this video, the Hilton Belfast. It's got a great rating. I've never stayed in it before. I've looked at all the photographs, I've looked at the reviews. It looks good, as any Hilton does anywhere in the world. It's on for one room, including tax and fees, for next Saturday night at £401. Yes, 401 quid to stay one night in the Hilton Belfast. Now, I'm thinking the only explanation for this outside of that we're being ripped off, because nobody likes to think that they're being taken advantage of, and maybe they figure that we can't afford actually to go anywhere else in the world and realise just how much we are being ripped off to stay for a night in Belfast, or maybe they're hoping for gullible tourists or whatever it is. But I thought, okay, maybe it's a bed space issue and supply and demand. However, consider this, there are now 40 hotels in the sort of Belfast city centre area. That's more than there's ever been. And in recent years, there's been huge development to add more hotel rooms into Belfast, yet the prices have gone up and up and up. It's estimated there's around 5,000 hotel rooms in Belfast's city centre. And when I thought about it, actually, that would make sense, because in the last number of years, there's been new developments such as the Grand Central Hotel, Hampton by Hilton, the Ibis, Maldron, Titanic Hotel, Room 2 Belfast, Bullet Hotel, AC Hotels by Marriott down there on the river, and a whole host of smaller hotels have opened up as well, albeit with much lower capacity. There's been the boom of Airbnb, and there's a load of apartments such as the Dream Apartments that now rent out properties down there by the Oval and across the city as well. So to my mind, there's never been more rooms available in Belfast, but why has the cost continued to rise the way it has? So what I wanted to do next, and for the purposes of this video, we're going to stick with hotels.com, and I'm going to use the Hilton, that £400 room, £401 room that we found in the Belfast Hilton, because no matter where you go in the world, Hiltons are by and large very similar, and it's a good way to base this for the purposes of the comparison They're fairly much close to the city centre. The ratings are usually very similar. The style and the quality of service you'll get in a Hilton is by and large very similar. I don't want to say it's like the hotel version of a McDonald's, but with a regular Hilton, you kind of know what you're getting regardless to which Hilton you stay in. So, is there a more expensive Hilton next Saturday night anywhere in the world, or does Belfast take the title? Okay, let's look at this now. All right, here we go. So, we're going to look at Hilton hotels next Saturday night closer to home for a start. So, I think we'll start in Dublin, the Hilton Dublin. It looks good, nice photographs, clean, £249. So already Belfast is more expensive than Dublin, right? Let's move on. Again, staying sort of close to home, we're going to look at London. We're going to look at the Hilton London Metropole next Saturday night. Is that more than four? No, £291, the Hilton in London. Right, how about, where else? Let's go, right, Liverpool. What about Liverpool? The Hilton Liverpool. And we've got it on here at £236, so still way cheaper than Belfast. Okay, let me think of some more outlandish Hiltons around the world. Let's go with, let's try Hilton. Somewhere I was recently, I didn't stay in a Hilton, but I saw one down there in Miami. So let's look at the Hilton Miami next Saturday night. Surely it's going to be more expensive than Belfast. It's Miami, for goodness sake, isn't it? £302. It's £100 more to stay in Belfast Hilton next Saturday than the one in Miami. Right, we'll try another one. Let's go for, think of a location. We'll try the Hilton Dubai. Come on, it's Dubai, right? It's cheaper again. You can stay there for the night for just £220. Are you beginning to see a pattern here? And are you beginning to think what I'm thinking? We're being fleeced. They're fleecing us here. Right, hold on a second. We'll find one more expensive. I'm determined to. We're going to go to Sydney, Australia. The Hilton in Sydney, Australia. It's going to be more expensive than Belfast. No, you can stay there next Saturday in Sydney for £293, and similar rating to Belfast, 8.6. It's rated excellent. By the way, just to go over, the Hilton Miami was 8.6, rated excellent. Hilton London, 8.0, a little bit lower. Hilton Dubai was 8.6 as well. So all these hotels are in a par with Belfast, okay? So don't be thinking that Belfast's anything more fancy. It's definitely not. We are fairly much doing this as much like for like as possible. Let's look at another one here. We're going to go to one of my favourite places in the world, a Hilton that I have been lucky enough to stay in before, so I can vouch for. It's beautiful. It's near SeaWorld in Orlando, Florida, so really convenient for the attractions, Universal Studios on International Drive. It's a lovely Hilton. It's got a great lazy river that runs around it too. It's £283 next week. So still at this point, Belfast is way out in the lead with over £400. I cannot find any other Hilton anywhere in the world more than £400 for a stay next Saturday. I'm going to go to another one that I've lucky enough to have stayed in before. This is a part of one of the most ambitious hotel projects ever created in the history of hotels. It's a part of the Resorts World in Las Vegas. This is the new hotel you may have saw on the Strip in Vegas that has the huge screen down the side of it. I think it's the largest LED screen in the world. And there's 3 hotels in Resorts World, and the Hilton is one of the tenants in this particular huge structure, and it's like got hundreds of restaurants and bars and clubs, and it's like one of these. It is resorts, called Resorts World for a reason. You do not need to leave this hotel. This hotel is like a city in itself. It's an incredible place to stay. £309, and it's rated 8.6. So despite what I've said, to be fair, maybe the Belfast one is punching, because it certainly has nothing in it like what Resorts World does, but these ratings, of course, are all averaged down, and 8.6 is pretty much what most of these Hiltons seem to be rated at. So £309, still the Belfast ones is the guts of 90 quid more expensive than that. Right, have I been to this one before? I don't think I've ever stayed in the Hilton Times Square, because to my mind, it's too expensive to stay. Never mind in Times Square, but in the Hilton Times Square. But let's humour myself. I'm going to look at how much it costs to stay there next week. Hilton Times Square, New York City, £281. Now again, it's worth saying for the purposes of this video, in America, they have a thing called state tax. There's sometimes county tax and a resort fee that is added on to this. It could typically come out anywhere up to $50, $60 more than the prices that maybe will be quoted on these sites. I don't think it includes it. But even taking that into consideration, still nothing is coming near to Belfast. Okay, Santa Monica, LA. The rich and the famous. Santa Monica Boulevard, again, another beautiful place. I'm lucky enough to have driven through it in the past. Have never been able to afford to stay in Santa Monica. Let's see what the Hilton on Santa Monica is doing. £274. Is the Hilton in Belfast next Saturday, and I'm not saying this is going to be the same every single day of the week, every week of the year, but next Saturday, on this one little date we're doing tonight for the purposes of this video, have we found the most expensive Hilton anywhere in the world? And is it right here in Belfast, Northern Ireland? For some reason, not known to me right now. Hilton... thinking the Caribbean, Jamaica. No Hilton in Jamaica. Hilton, Barbados. Barbados is a pretty exclusive place. Let's see. And we have a winner. The Hilton Barbados Resort is £451 for a night next Saturday night. It's rated 8.4, so it's not even rated as high as the Belfast one, but it will cost you a little bit more. So we got there in the end. So we have found somewhere in the world a more expensive Hilton. There may be more, but I think we get the point. Why are we paying so much for hotel rooms in Belfast? But what I also do know is that hotels stick the arm in as soon as they know there's an event happening in Belfast. If there's a concert happening or something big that lots of people are coming to, those prices go up even more. This is March in Belfast. It's pissing down at this time of year. There's nothing happening. £401 for one night in a hotel. For 50 quid more, you can be looking out at the Caribbean Sea as opposed to the River Lagan. Right, well, that's hotels. I also suspect that we're being fleeced and ripped off left, right and centre. So maybe more follow-ups to this. The price of drink, I got to tell you, I think Belfast is one of the most expensive places to buy alcohol, to go for a night out. People always talk about how expensive it is to go to places like Temple Bar and London for the night, and Iceland and Dubai, and you hear about how expensive these places are. I actually think that the price of a drink in some of the bars around Belfast. I know we were out the other week and paid, I want to say it was £17 each for a cocktail, which was fairly average in a certain Belfast hotel. £17 for a cocktail. Anyway, that'll do it for now. I'm depressed. Hit the like, follow and subscribe for more videos on the channel just like this one. I'll see you next time.